What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Blazers Uprise postgame show. I am your solo host for the next 10 to 15 minutes while Tori gets home from basketball. Uh, so I'm Eric Brandt, and thanks for tuning in. Glad everyone could watch us this evening. Yeah, Tori will be here in a minute, but this is a really insanely bad game. Just really a lot of mistakes were made that cost us a game we probably should have won. We should probably be talking about a 3-game win streak right now, but unfortunately, we are not, and it's very frustrating. Um, so yeah, what did you guys think of the game? Just I can't with the defensive mistakes. It's driving me absolutely crazy. Uh, we just do so many dumb things, and it's you got guys like Ingram going off, and we're losing him and not knowing where he is, and the guys who are supposed to be guarding him like fall asleep, and it's like you can't make those mistakes when uh like when Ingram is on fire. You can't forget where he is on the court or sag off him to help or anything like that. And then Walker in the second half started hitting threes, and several people lost him off ball and led to him getting open threes. It's really sad, and I mean we're back to either Dame has to go nuclear, which he played really well tonight, but unfortunately it wasn't enough, or yeah, we don't really have a counter or anything to do, so it's frustrating because we got nothing from our bench tonight. Absolutely nothing. Simons, this was a terrible game from Simons, unfortunately. Um, McLemore hit a couple threes, but outside of that, he didn't do anything. Watford came in, I thought, played another couple of good minutes. Didn't really get much of a shot, so can't really blame him. I'd like to see him get more minutes, actually. Who else played off the bench? Feel like I'm missing someone off the bench, but yeah, just nothing, nothing from those guys. And I don't know, in a game like this, it might be. I'd be willing to give someone else a shot when no one else is trying anything. Um, and then Snell did absolutely nothing as a starter, which is also frustrating. Oh, Rocco, thank you, Ethan. Yeah, Rocco was terrible in this game too. Just absolutely terrible. Like that guy, it's to the point where his defensive breakdowns and mistakes are costing us games, and it's he's got to go, man. Yeah, he's a shell of himself right now. And I don't know what it is, but he shouldn't be the cause of all our breakdowns on defense. He just shouldn't be, and unfortunately, like a lot of our problems on defense are because of Robert Covington and his inability to stay within the scheme, stay within what you're supposed to do, be a good help defender, which is supposed to be his biggest strength as a player. And he's just completely failing to do his role right now, and that's really frustrating because this is a guy who in the past is the perfect player for the role that we need him to be, but unfortunately he's just not that anymore this season, and it's costing us victories. Um, yeah, the starters. I mean, Nance had some good moments, but nothing really crazy either way, I guess. Nurk also had some really good moments in this game and some really bad moments, so he was hit or miss tonight as well. Um, and then Norm played a decent game. I don't think much of this was Norm's fault, but we go through a lot of long periods of not even getting him involved or not getting him part of the action, and that's something with CJ out. We have to find a way to score points, and we're just not scoring enough with these units and these sets we're running. The offense, I mean, it's basically outside of there was a stretch in the second quarter, which we'll detail in Brent's breakdown tonight, that we had some really nice sets out of it. Big surprise, it was utilizing our big men a little more than normal, Nance and Nurk in that stretch. And there was some really good plays in there, resulting in a Dame open three, a Nance dunk, and stuff like that. And I thought we were headed in the right direction, maybe. And then the whole second half, it's basically just spam pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll. Oh, Dame ISO. Oh, shot clock's running down. Let's throw it to Norm and see if he can do something real quick. And yeah, I mean, that kind of basketball does not win unless you just get a guy get on fire. But consistently, if you're talking about night in and night out being a good team, this is exactly why we could not play this type of basketball. We need to have more structure. We need to have better sets. We need to have more movement off ball. We need to have better passing. And we can't turn the ball over and all that kind of stuff. And yes, it's a case where we need to be better. Pretty much everyone right now, I'd say Dame is the only one really playing at his best right now. And we need guys to help him. And unfortunately, we're back to this where it's the Dame show and Dame can't get any help. But the problem is you rush Dame back in the fourth quarter. I think without looking, I want to say he played 38, 39 minutes in this game. So, yeah, you lose by 14 to the Pelicans. Dame's kind of going through things, and you still have to play him that many minutes to to lose the game. It's like, what are we doing? It's frustrating. But no, Dame does not need to leave. Get that crap out of chat. We're not going to entertain any of that. Dame is here to stay as long as he wants to. And yeah, we need to do a better job of helping him, not ship him somewhere else. So, but yeah, Chauncey's got to do a better job of preparing this team and get him to go. I think this game was like 5-5 with 6 minutes left or something in the first quarter. Like, it was really bad. Yeah. So Beavis says Chauncey is not a good coach. I'm sorry. I don't know. The jury's still out. He still has plenty of time. He's still learning on the job. I think maybe right now we're going through, I don't know. He's having a tough time mixing between doing what he thinks is best and doing what's maybe best for some of his players. And it's something that we criticized Stotts a lot for, was the running the same system no matter what your personnel is. So people say, well, what is he supposed to do? He has Cantor. Well, like, the same system doesn't work with Cantor that it did with Zach Collins or Ed Davis or, Myers Leonard or something. These are all different players, and they need to run a different system when they're in the game. You need to be able to run different defenses. So I think Phillips is getting stuck between knowing his systems would probably work with better personnel or the right personnel for his system, but it also isn't working with the players he has right now. So does he keep pushing for the players to adapt to him, or does he let the players run what they want to do? But the problem with that is, if the players get their way and they run the same stuff or stuff that's more suited for them, they're showing that play doesn't work either. So it's a tough situation, because I think he needs players that aren't going to be constantly making mental mistakes out there. And there's nothing he can really do about it. If he gives someone a detailed game plan, in this situation, this is what you do, and then the players go out and constantly mess up. But the problem is, so you have the accountability thing, right? And I've said that many times, like, you could just take that guy out of the game and try someone else, right? And he hasn't been willing to do that, which is kind of counterintuitive to his whole accountability thing. So I don't like that he's not necessarily holding people accountable. But the problem is, outside of maybe Rocco, other than that, it's like every player does it like once or twice a game. And then so you add them all up and you have 6 guys making 2 mistakes a game. And that's 12 mistakes that you just can't have on a basketball court. And it's really frustrating because we have so many plays where we're set up perfectly and then someone just randomly switches or turns the wrong way or forgets who they're guarding or doesn't box out on a rebound, and it costs us the whole possession because one person. And it's just, I don't know how to necessarily fix that short of just maybe getting smarter players. And unfortunately, I was hoping, I've said this many times, I just want to say it again in case anyone new is watching. I was wrong about this team, this roster. I just don't think they're good enough to run a system that requires things that require you to think while on the court a lot. And trying to put this delicately, but for example, if the other team is running a pick and roll, you have to know who the ball handler is, who the screener is, what your assignments are for each of those players running the screen. We talked about this a couple streams ago, how Draymond Green was like, okay, so if Durant sets a screen and he picks and pops in this situation, he's this percentage shooter. The roll man is this a percentage shooter. And that guy processes that all within his brain while in the game playing and is smart enough to know those things. But we have guys who, because they're so limited, we have to get them to just play one way. And the problem is that one way becomes too predictable. And like we've seen the past few years, when you run a predictable defense, you run a predictable offense, it's easy to shut down. And we either make tough shots and win some games, or we do like similar things. We struggle to get shots. We're fighting the shot clock constantly, like we were tonight. And then we only put up 97 points against the Pelicans, and that's what happens. So I just think we're at a point where we just need to mix it up a little bit, and that mix up could come within. I don't know why he hasn't given a guy like Greg Brown just some rotational minutes just to see. I mean, maybe it's a case where he's not earning those in practice or something like Watford is. But at some point, I think we just need to just try something different with this rotation with the team. And it sucks because we have injuries right now. We probably win this game if we have Nas tonight or CJ. But yeah, it's just, this is a game that would have been a very nice one to win. Going on a 3-game win streak, play well on the road. And unfortunately, just couldn't get it done. What's up, Tori?
What's up? So, basically, we have a bunch of anti-Draymond Greens.
Yes.
Because, yeah, you went into it on a previous stream about just the way Draymond Green sees things defensively and the way he thinks about things, and it's like, being one pass away is too complicated for us, man. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't watch anything but the first quarter of this game. I tuned in for a little bit late in the fourth quarter and saw that we were down 13, and I'm like, I gotta get out of this gym. I had a basketball game. That's why I wasn't on to start. I didn't want to do this stream sweaty and whatnot. And honestly, I'll just say, I'm kind of glad I missed this one. It sounds like it's a typical Blazers loss, typical Blazers fashion. Nice to see that Dame is back. I don't think they're all the questions about him being washed up, I think, are out the window right now. I'm kind of bouncing all over the place. But, I mean, yeah, defensively, I can kind of see how this game went. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the same stuff. It's the same recipe. It's not like it's one. I don't know. We do have games where we turn over the ball a bunch, but for the most part, every game we lose, the defense wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? How many games have we lost this year where the defense was good? I have we lost anywhere the defense was good? I don't know. It just comes down to silly mistakes, and you saw the past 2 games. We were better. Charlotte, we were kind of okay, and then Memphis, we were really good. And it's just cleaning up simple, stupid stuff, and that's what's infuriating for both me and you. So, since I only watched the first quarter, Eric's going to continue to carry this show. I will plug in the graphics and kind of, help run things along. But a big part of this stream is just kind of trying to get more of a feel for this game. I might watch box score clips here and there while Eric talks about this one just to kind of see some plays that happen. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know, Eric, good to see you, man. I don't really have anything to go off of, but I will join you and just hang out and not be as probably frustrated as most of the people in this chat are because I didn't watch the thing.
Did you, do we have the team stats? I guess we're doing
Yeah,
that.
we should. I gotta open up the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
I assume Krish has been plugging away as normal. Yes, he has. Good old reliable. Alright, so, yeah, I will plug these in here. Here are our team stats last game. This looks a lot better than our team stats this game. 53% from the field. That's the biggest thing that jumps out to me. I mean, we won the turnover battle. Offensive boards weren't really a problem.
Rebounding overall was...
What'd you say?
Rebounding.
Overall, yeah, but I mean, when they're making a lot of shots, those are a lot of potential rebounds that you don't have. So that's the thing, is when they make 7 more shots, they're going to have more rebounds. That's why I like to look at the offensive more. I mean, what's the biggest stat that tells this game, Eric? What do you think?
It's probably the 53%.
It's not good, dude. That's real bad. Let me do the math from 2. From 2, they were 30 for 47. 30 for 40 freaking 7. That's horrible.
Yeah.
30 for 47. That's 64% from 2. You can't let him shoot 64% from 2. That's insane. The thing is, looking at this box score is like we didn't turn over the ball much. Shooting numbers aren't great, but they're okay. So how did we only score 97 points? This seems like it was a pretty slow-paced game, and when you look at 4 fast break points for Portland, 7 for New Orleans, that kind of explains that. So you can't really base it off of total point numbers. I think this, just looking at the box score, obviously, this just looks like a very poor defensive outing. That looks better because they only scored 111. There's been games where we've given up 125, 129, but it was a slow-paced game. They were extremely efficient.
So one thing that's not on these is bench points, and I thought that would be the main stat of the night. Thanks, whose name, for saying that, because that is absolutely 100% true. It was bench points tonight. Our bench was absolutely terrible in this game.
I don't know, like, what do you think is the cause for that? Do you think it's when Anthony Simons can't make shots, we don't have anybody right now that's a creator off the bench? Because without CJ on that bench lineup, it's like Ant has to play well. When Ant struggles, when he's not making shots, who's going to create things? It's not like our team offense and our motion is good. It's bad, so we need a shot creator. And then when Dame's off the court without CJ and Ant struggling, like, that's been a problem.
Yeah, because, I mean, we can't depend on Roka right now for big games. I mean, he occasionally hits some threes, but outside of that, not a whole lot there. Like, offensively, he's not going to create a lot. And, yeah, Macklemore can get hot. He's had some good games, hit a couple threes tonight, but one of them was like an insane step-back 3, and the other one was off an offensive tap-out that he missed the first time and then just got a second chance and got it. So not really like playmaking or anything like that. So I think that's where we really miss CJ tonight, was being that second unit guy who can get us a basket, because we just could not do that tonight.
Was Norm playing with the bench unit?
He did a little bit. Dame, I said this earlier, but he only played. He
Dame
played
played
like
40
30, 40 minutes. Yeah, I thought I was
Norm
going to
played
guess 30 to 30.
42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they pretty much didn't sit out much. So there was hardly any time when they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, um, just yeah, we don't have a lot of because we have Snell, Nance in our starting lineup, right? So
Yeah.
we're already kind of down in terms of scorers and stuff in our starting lineup, and now you add Ant struggling with our bench, and yeah, it's just a recipe for disaster when you basically have to rush Dame back in after only sitting for 2 to 3 minutes in the fourth quarter, and we just run the Dame show play the whole fourth quarter, and it doesn't really work for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been a running theme for years. We gotta have better motion. It's disappointing that Chauncey hasn't brought in us. But here's a point I want to make. Fans, when they have a certain skill on their team, like taken care of, they forget what it's like to not have that skill. And then when they don't have enough of something, that's all they want, right? So for Blazer fans, we don't have a good enough defense. And a lot of Blazer fans are just like, screw it, we just need defense, not even worried about anything else, right? Mm-hmm. We've had shot creation because we've had Dame, we've had CJ, and now Ant has kind of stepped into his own. We got Norm as a shot creator at the 3. Norm is fine. At the 2, he's a little below average, in my opinion, in terms of just all around off the dribble creation ability for others and for himself. He can score, but that's pretty much all he is as a scorer. He's not somebody that's going to really create shots for others. But we've been fine in terms of the creation department. So the result has been a bunch of fans are like, trade CJ for whatever, right? He's duplicative with Dame. You know, he's not the best fit with Dame because they both do the same thing. But then when we're without CJ, it's like, oh wow, we need a shot creator. We need somebody other than Dame that can create shots. We need somebody who can stagger with Dame to play with the bench lineup, who can help that bench lineup, so that it's not all in Anthony Simons from the creation department. And that's what I tried to warn people who always threw out trade CJ for whatever. You know what I mean? Trade CJ for this role player, or even the trade CJ for Ben Simmons stuff, right? Like, fans overvalue what they don't have and they undervalue what they do have. And the shot creation aspect of our roster has become undervalued, and then CJ's missing, and you watch, like, these games, we don't have enough shot creation, especially with Dame's off the floor. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Well, the problem is we still, like, even if we have that shot creation, then we're back to needing defense.
Yeah.
Or,
but that's the problem. It's like, just
yeah.
because you fix one thing doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be better, because you're probably subtracting in other areas. Mm-hmm. So it's more than just, go get Dame a good defender. We'll still be a great offense because Dame can carry us. Well, Dame tried to carry us tonight and did a pretty good job, and the offense wasn't good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of my takeaway, and that's what missing CJ kind of shows, in my opinion.
I will say, I mean, this isn't really anything, because we didn't really have a 3-guard lineup much. I mean, I guess Ant, Norm, and Dame had to play some together. But the times this really hurt us were, this is one of the few times where the size on Ingram of the team. So I always say I'll point that out if it actually happens. And there were a few times in this game where Ingram posted up or got Ant or Norm on him and just easily hit a turnaround jumper over them. But we weren't really, those weren't because that was their matchup or whatever, and that's the guy they had to guard, right? It was because they got switched on him or someone else made a mistake and they had to cover for someone, and then they get mixed up. So, I think tonight definitely was a night where we got a little bit of trouble with having some of our smaller guards trying to guard Ingram. And then because of that, we had so many people losing their 3-point shooters, and that hurt us as well. But yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't know what to do when like every player outside of Rocco, who makes like 800 mistakes a game, every player makes like 2 mistakes, and you add them all together, and it's like 12 mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's like no one's like constantly doing it. It's just like one play, like, you know, we go down, we need to stop. Oh, Dame messes up, and then the next play down, Dame's in perfect position. He plays really good defense, but it's like Nurk messes up, and then like it's just it's so.
It's demoralizing for the players that
Yeah.
do a good job on a possession when somebody else makes a silly mistake. And it's like they just busted their ass for what? For somebody else to just be a dumbass and leave someone for an open three? All that effort you gave on that possession was rendered pointless because this other guy isn't doing his job, isn't playing basic principled defense. That's demoralizing. I like any of you in chat, go out and play like a competitive basketball game, right? A game that you really want to win. You know, like some of you probably go to your park and just kind of play pickup and it's just whatever. I don't know. Play a game you really want to win. That's why I like playing rant, because it gives that competitive feel back. You know what I mean? But go play a game where you want to win and then bust your ass on defense and have somebody who's like smart enough to know how to play defense just make dumb mistakes and see how it feels. It doesn't make you want to keep battling hard. It's demoralizing, right? So that's the thing, is it's demoralizing, and then the next possession, maybe you don't go as hard, and somebody else does, but since you're not going as hard, you make the mistake this time. And then the other guy that was going hard is demoralizing for him. It compounds itself.
The thing that keeps happening is the off-ball, like, someone moves, and then, like, one guy will be, like, thinking they're supposed to switch, and the other guy will not even know and just go with this guy, and then all of a sudden you have 2 guys going with one and then leaving someone else wide open. And if you just watch off ball, there's so many times where people are pointing like, go get someone else, and it's just lazy. Like, people just want to guard whoever they're closest to, and no one fights through picks off ball enough. No one's like hustling to make up for mistakes enough, and it's just like compounds each other. And it's like there was a point in this game where there was a 3-play sequence, the third of which will be featured in a minute. But so Dame gets Brandon Ingram in the corner. Ingram drives baseline. No one helps, and he has a dunk. Or Nurk's late on the help. He dunks it. And then the next play, Ingram cuts baseline off ball, like from one corner to the other corner, and Rocco just like stops around the basket and tells Norm to go get Ingram, but Norm already has his back turned and is like running past him the other direction. So even if he was supposed to guard, or like even if they were supposed to switch on that, Norm would have had to like stop all his momentum going the other way, turn around and run all the way out at Ingram, and it still would have been too late. And then Rocco's like, oh crap, Norm's not going. So, but it's like, why are you motioning for him to switch? Just hustle your butt and stay with Ingram. Like, that's your job if you're guarding Ingram. Like, you know, like if you're playing a game and the other team has a lights out player like that, if you're guarding him, it's like you do not leave this player no matter what, right? Like, no circumstances. You are not the help guy. You are not supposed to leave this guy. And we let him get an open 3 there. And then the next play down, which we'll show in Brain's breakdown, Rocco just is in a terrible position off a pick and roll and gives up another 3 to Ingram. And all of a sudden he scores 8 points in like 2 minutes to end the quarter when we're up 42-36 and with a couple minutes left in the quarter, the second quarter, and we go into halftime with the deficit because we let Ingram cook us in the last couple minutes of that quarter. And it's just stuff like that. It's just the inability to just fly around and hustle and stay with your guy and get back on the right guy, and constantly trying to be like, no, you take this guy, like on the fly. in the NBA against this good of players, you're never going to have a good defense if you're constantly out of position and not getting back in time to cover for that. And it didn't show up in the transition points tonight, the fast break points, but it's like the secondary fast break. Like, so they just make like one cross court pass and all of a sudden someone's wide open because two guys ran down to the same spot or whatever. And it's just constantly happening. And you can point it out all you want. It should be coachable. It's fixable. If they ever stop doing it, they could probably be a good defensive team. It's just, I don't know how to get them to like get their head out of their butt right now. I don't know. Like, it's just,
yeah.
It drives me insane, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, not to go back to CJ, but the defensive issues are just beyond the fact that we normally start three guards. Because we haven't been starting three guards, and for the most part, it's still the same. You know what I mean? Like, if we started CJ in this game, people would be screaming three guards. You know what I mean? But, I mean, outside of the Memphis game, you look at the previous games before that when we were missing CJ, the defense wasn't any better. And it's just, it got frustrating to me because people made it out like, oh, it's just because we're starting three guards. You just need to trade CJ for something, then move Norm to the 2, and our defense is going to be better. Why isn't the defense better then? Why is it still so bad? And it's because of everything that we break down on Brand's Breakdowns. It's like we've broken down a number of just the silly, boneheaded defensive mistakes. Those are happening whether or not CJ's on the floor or not. And that is the biggest issue, is we have too many players making too many boneheaded mistakes that are inexcusable. And it goes back to, I question the collective wherewithal mentally, and you talked about this earlier in the stream, Eric. I did listen to a little bit of it. I got the collective wherewithal mentally on the defensive end with this team is horrible. Our situational recognition is horrible. Our awareness is horrible. Like, every intangible thing that you need as a team defense, we struggle with. And it doesn't matter if Siege is on the court or not. It doesn't matter if we bring in a Robert Covington. I mean, it's funny because the players we do bring in that are solid to good defenders regress. And that was the case under Stotts, but it's still happening. And it's still happening under Chauncey. So I don't know why, but it's like we bring in Norm. And Norm, at the start of his tenure here, defended really well. Was defended really, really well. And it's funny because somebody said they rewatched our first post-game show after we traded for Norman Powell. And apparently I said on that post-game show, Eric, I said something along the lines of, well, if I like Norman Powell's energy on the defensive end, if that regresses, then you know it's a culture problem. Right? Yeah. You look at Norm. You look at Rocco. Okay? Rocco is just falling off a cliff, just completely regressed. And it's not because, he's slow, right? He does struggle on the ball, but it's a bunch of boneheaded mistakes off the ball. He was a top-notch off-the-ball defender coming into here, and now he struggles. And it doesn't make sense, right? And then you look on the other hand, Gary Trent Jr. energy-wise and defensively was bad for us last season. He ends up in Toronto. He's on the NBA defensive player ladder that NBA.com comes out with. Now, maybe question who's writing that or what you think of some of the rankings there, but he's getting recognized for playing great defense. Now, he does get a lot of steals because he gambles and whatnot, so, you can't just base defense off steals if you're gambling a lot. But, I mean, by all accounts, he's gotten back to the Gary Trent Jr. we saw in the bubble. So it's like Gary Trent Jr. leaves Portland, gets better defensively. We bring in Robert Covington and Norman Powell, they get worse defensively. That's why it's like, I don't think just giving up shot creation for a better defender necessarily fixes things, because we've brought in good defenders and they've regressed. So if we go out and get, Ben Simmons is probably immune to it because he's so good, but I don't know, dude. It's like we bring in good defenders and they regress on that end, and our defense still sucks no matter who we bring in. So I don't know.
Yeah, the crazy part to me is it's actually a legit conversation. Would we have been better off just trading Rocco instead of Derek Jones this summer? And that would have been blasphemy like at the time of that trade, right? Yeah. But I don't think we're any worse right now if we have Derek Jones instead of Rocco on this roster, and that's really sad. I wish that wasn't the case, but
it's just confusing.
We'd still have our first.
It's just confusing. I don't know. We need a see, like, it comes back to this. Let me just tie up my point that I made. We need a Draymond Green type of personality, right? It's like we don't have like the culture, like, we're going to beat you on the defensive end, we're going to lock you up. We don't have that competitiveness on that end collectively. No matter who we bring in, like, Norm is kind of a quiet guy, Roko's kind of a quiet guy, right? Gary Trent Jr. is less of a quiet guy than both those guys. But the thing is even when we had Gary Trent Jr. here, he was kind of slacking. We need to bring somebody in who's like a Draymond Green type of personality, who holds himself accountable no matter what and just busts his ass no matter what, and can help uplift the energy level of this defense.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to me. But then it's still like, if players are this checked out mentally and this lost mentally, even if they play with better energy, are we sure they're not going to be making a bunch of boneheaded mistakes? You know, it's a multi-faceted issue right now.
Well, I think Ernesto has a good point. Like, that's why you have to get rid of those guys. So I'm fine with trading every single person that Chauncey doesn't think is capable of being or playing a winning type way. That's one thing. I mean, I've been critical of him not translating some of his schemes to the floor, his way of thinking. So far, he's pretty much been all talk. But one thing I do trust him with is identifying who those players are that he needs to win and who's not going to be those guys. So I think that's where my biggest misstep was I thought Chauncey could maybe turn some of those guys into those types. But if he's trying to do that and they're not responding at all, I think they have to go. And I think we have to just, at this point, I don't know if addition by subtraction is necessarily the right thing for that, but at this point, like, we just have to make a move. But the problem is with the play-in games and the 10 spots in both conferences, so that leaves 20 teams with several other teams that think right now, like, take New Orleans, for example. They've been terrible all year, have been a lot better the last few weeks. And they've got to be thinking, like, we're only a game or two away from possibly being in the playoffs at this point, right?
Yeah.
So, like there's not a lot of teams that are, like, in our position now where we need to make moves and stuff like that. They're still kind of waiting to see how it shakes up over the next month or two before the trade deadline. I guess only a month and a half away from the trade deadline. And then, so yeah, the problem is you can't really make moves if no other teams are really ready to make trades yet. So that's what you were saying when the December 15th deadline came around.
Yeah.
Like, the teams just don't start trading on December 15th. They're able to from this point forward, but, like, almost every team in the West, and all but I think 2 teams in the East, like, could seriously talk themselves into thinking they maybe have a chance of still making the play-in game at this point. So that's one thing that kind of sucks in our position is we need to make a move, but I don't know how many teams are ready to make a move right now to mix it up. And then the one person who would fit that mold is Ben Simmons because he's not playing at all. So you'd think they have to trade at some point, but Morey's just such a weird GM that, like, who knows, like, it's not probably not going to happen. So it's just frustrating. So I'll ask this question. If Chauncey believes that CJ can be a part of the winning team and it's other players that are the problem, I know your answer to this, but I'm more interested in Chad's answer.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I know that they're not going to take this
the
right way, but
ask him. I want to see what Chat says.
So if Chauncey thinks that CJ is actually trying his best and is a player that's capable of playing the way he wants him to, and it's actually other players, let's say like Norm, Rocco, Nurk, all those guys are not, are you fine with still running a Damon CJ team if we trade out the whole rest of the team? Or is everyone just done completely with CJ no matter what?
I'll make a chat poll, and then we'll take the donos. What should the options for the chat poll be?
If Billups wants to or thinks he can win with CJ, are you okay with keeping him, or should he go no matter what?
Okay. All right, I'll type that out.
I'll take the donuts.
Yeah.
Antonio with a $5 donation. Thank you, Antonio. He says, we need more physical defenders, and no team is scared of our paint protection or Nurk in the paint, one of our biggest issues defensively. Well, see, the problem is Nurk's often not in the paint. So it's our secondary rim protectors. And it's actually, I think it's been better since Nance has been in the starting lineup because he's a really good secondary rim protector. But yeah, Rocco was doing a very bad job of that this year. And once again, that was supposed to be one of his strengths. So it's kind of hard when you have one paint protector. The other team is constantly running pick and roll with that whoever he's guarding. So he's always having to guard that action, and we're running an aggressive scheme out of that. So he's often on the perimeter, showing or blitzing those pick and rolls, and then not really in position to protect the paint. So I don't think that's necessarily on Nurk. I think it's that we have two seemingly good secondary rim protectors, and they're not helping at all, which would allow Nurk to kind of get back to his normal rim protection. So we do need more physical defenders. I do think it's a mindset, and that's why I think, like, I still think a guy like Norm, if he just played the way he's capable of playing, all the minutes he's playing in the game, I feel like he could be a physical defender. Like, that guy's tough. He's physical. He's strong. He's got, long arms, so he can, like, hassle people on the ball. But it's just not consistent enough in the game.
Yeah.
If Dame is guarding a point guard, like tonight, he should have been guarding Devontae Graham the whole game, right? Like, he should be able to shut down Devontae Graham and win that matchup defensively, right? Mm-hmm. And then you got, like, Nance and Rocco should be physical and good defenders. Snell isn't really a physical guy, but, like, he should be a smart defender. Like, there's no reason why he should be getting lost at all. I don't really notice that a ton tonight, but like, he shouldn't be playing a lot. And then you got Nas, who's tried to become that, makes a lot of mistakes off ball, but on ball he's been decent. So I mean, I agree. We just need, like, toughness. We need guys who, it's not care more. It's just like, I know for a fact that after, not this last Memphis game, but the one we lost, last week.
Yeah.
Chauncey, was heard by, someone saying that he wishes he had a guy like Dylan Brooks. So yeah, that's the kind of guy I think Chauncey likes. Are those guys who just are in your face the whole game, and they're so freaking annoying when you're playing against them, right? It's like the whole game he's, like, constantly whining and yelling and pumping his chest and doing all this crap, but, like, at the end of the day, those guys play with passion, and I think that's just something that's missing on this team is just, like, where's the heart? Where's the passion? Where's that drive to want to win? Where's the people getting mad that we're only scoring 97 points against the Pelicans and getting punked by Nickeil Alexander-Walker and stuff like that? It's like, where's the guy who will step up and be like, you know what? He's hit 4 threes in a row. Enough of this, man. I got him. I am taking him out of this game, and we don't have a guy who's going to step up and do it.
See, Black Knight says that was Trent. That wasn't Trent in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't.
It may be a few games in the bubble, like 8-game sample size.
Yeah, a small sample size in the bubble, right? Kind of his coming out party. And then that's been Trent a bit in Toronto. When he was here last year, that was absolutely not Trent. Trent was like Norm.
Mm-hmm.
Trent was like Norm is right now, at best. He just gambled a little bit more, but didn't come up with a lot of steals and got out of position all the time because he was gambling. And then he just wouldn't he wouldn't compete to stay in front of guys. Like, Trent was not a good defender here. People forget. Like, that's the thing is, what stands out to people, what people remember most is Trent in the bubble. They don't remember Trent last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the problem. Like, Trent was not here. Benjamin Lucas apparently didn't watch Gary Trent Jr. last year. He thinks his D was way better. Trent was not a good defender last year. And that's the thing is, people shouldn't question me or you on that, Eric, because we watched that end more than anybody for that type of stuff. I mean, I told you guys, watch Norm on that end, right? And people were questioning me. And then the next stream, you come with 2 plays and probably could have had more, showcasing exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? Yeah, like, Bubble Trent was... Yeah, that's what we need. The problem is, we need guys that are like that no matter what. Trent is not like that no matter what, because Trent wasn't like that last season. He was only like that for us in the bubble. That's the problem.
Well, here's what happened with Trent. This, my opinion, this isn't fact or anything, but in my opinion, so he comes on, he falls to the second round because he's thought of just a shooter, right? Doesn't do anything else. He wasn't known as a defender, right? And his dad, he said, always imparted him that he had to become a dog on defense. He had to. That's how you can get playing time early on in your career as a second round pick, is just being that guy on defense, right? So, in my opinion, he did that. He got to the point where he was just like after people on defense. Has some success in the bubble. He shot like 60% from threes for a stretch of games or something insane like that. I think I don't remember him having a good game in the playoffs. I might be mistaken on that, but I think he kind of fell off in the playoffs against the Lakers that series.
He did.
So fast forward to the next year, all of a sudden it's like, oh, Trent's better than CJ. Trent's going to come in. And then what happens? CJ gets hurt. Trent's like, oh, I'm the starter now. I'm getting all these minutes. Like, whatever. Lost that defensive edge. He stopped having that reason why he got those minutes to begin with, in my opinion. And that's something he could get back. Yeah. So that's why he's playing well defensively in Toronto. But for our team, in our situation, he stopped playing defense the way he needed to play when he earned those minutes. And it became obvious that it's not a switch that he was going to turn back on very often. And then so he gets traded, and then all of a sudden he's playing for a contract. So, of course, he tries his best to show that in Toronto. And he gets a contract, but notice that it was a 2-year contract. It's not like he's set for the rest of his career. He's going to be a free agent again in 2 seasons. So this is a point where if he shows that over the next 2 years, he could maybe get closer to a max contract than an $18 million contract or whatever his contract was. So I think this is a case where he got the minutes. He earned the spot. He became the starter. He became a rotational player that was playing 25, 30 minutes a game. And I feel like he kind of fell off on defense and stopped caring as much because he earned what he needed to by playing the defense, and there was no reason for him to continue doing that here. So I wish I could have seen him under a coach like Chauncey just to see how he could have developed his defense. But I mean, Nick Nurse is a good coach, so I'm not surprised that he's playing good defense under him.
Yep, 77% of the people say no. They basically want CJ gone no matter what, which isn't a surprise. But here's the thing. I don't know if Norm is the answer. Because honestly, if it's between CJ and Norm, I'd almost rather trade Norm, dude, because that's the thing is I can't trust Norm to bring it defensively consistently. And CJ, when he brings it defensively, can be an average to above average defender. The first 8 games of the season, CJ was an above average defender. He brought it. Right? But it comes down to this. People say Dame and CJ don't work. Okay, well Dame without CJ doesn't work either. Our defense is still as bad. So if our defense is still as bad without CJ, and everything that doesn't work with Dame and CJ supposedly is just as bad, if not worse, without CJ, then how can we sit here and say, yeah, CJ's the problem. CJ has to go because he's the issue. Right? CJ's not a good defender. And Dame's not a good defender. So, yeah, I don't disagree with the notion that they're not good enough collectively, but people act like our entire defense, or the majority of the issue with our defense, is CJ based. Our defense is just as bad without him. It's so far beyond just a CJ issue or having CJ at the 2. It's so far beyond that, and that's what we try and do with your breakdowns. We try and break down, see, CJ's not playing, but look at Norm make this stupid mistake, and then Rocco make this stupid mistake, and then, somebody else make this stupid mistake. Look at Nas make this stupid mistake. Look at all these stupid mistakes we're making. Right?
Look at all this stagnant offense where we're waiting for someone to do something, and then no one does because we don't have someone as good as CJ to do it.
Or CJ could maybe bail out some of these crappy possessions because he can actually create off the dribble, right? So, that's the thing, is CJ, by no means is CJ a perfect player or even necessarily a good fit next to Dame, but you need that second guy that can create, and the defensive issues are far beyond CJ McCollum. Now, CJ McCollum was contributing to them he was definitely contributing to them before he got hurt. So I don't want, this isn't a pass for CJ and how he was defending, but it's so far beyond that's why I'm not going to say 100% you have to get rid of him. Because some people will go out and trade him for Karis LeVert and I don't know, Karis LeVert and Justin Holiday and a pick. But Karis LeVert is just as bad defensively and can't score the ball. He's hella inefficient. So, that's the thing, is people get too caught up with wanting something different instead of wanting something that makes sense. I'm all for trading CJ for something that makes sense. Too many people want something different. I don't know. That's kind of my CJ rant. So I don't know if I'd vote yes on that poll, but that's my feelings on it. That's my feelings on it. Is people boil it down to one or two guys, and it's a collective issue.
Yep, I agree.
So if you had Middleton, Giannis, Lopez, caliber defenders, like home field says. Obviously those guys or Giannis and Middleton are insane offensively, so they're really good. But just if you had 3 good defensive front court players that brought it consistently, I want to see how good that defense would be. Because I feel like Dame and CJ would up their intensity if they had 3 guys with them that brought it every night. If they had a Draymond type of guy on the team, I feel like those guys would be better defenders. Somebody that would hold them accountable on that end. You know what I mean? So it's just such a bigger issue that I'm not going to blame any one player because it's not any one player's fault. If that makes sense. Let's read off the rest of the donos, then let's get into your breakdown. Then we will get into the player cards. We'll go through those pretty quickly, and then we'll do around the NBA, finish off the stream. Shout out to Mills Woj, $20 dono, says, if CJ isn't playing, we should play Dennis Smith Jr. with the bench, and he can't shoot, but he can get people moving. Also play Watford in Zeller's minutes till he gets back. He plays smart and hard and has good potential. I like Watford. I saw that I think I watched the whole entire first quarter, so I watched him at the end of the first there. Good for him to play because he went to college in Louisiana, LSU. So that game was in New Orleans, of course. As far as Dennis Smith Jr. goes, we need to stop relying on people creating out of isolation, out of stagnant offense. We need to run better offense. And the problem is you got players that just stand around and they don't try and run better offense out of freelance, so it's almost like we always have to be in a set, Eric, which is really hard to always be in a set because defenses can game plan for sets and defenses can take you out of sets. And then what?
Here's the thing, though. we never push the ball with the second unit. How many times have we said that over the last 2.5 years?
Yeah.
We don't push the ball in transition with the second unit. Like, get Ant out in space. Like, let him be a guy, like a bucket getter on the break. Like, have a guy who throws the outlet pass to him at half court instead of him coming back like Dame always does and get the ball. And then, we're crossing half court with 17 seconds left. We dribble for a couple seconds. It's like 14 seconds, 15 seconds on the shot clock before we're even like setting up the player going into our ISO or pick and roll or whatever. It's just so slow developing, and it just doesn't seem like that's the right scheme fit for the players we have on our bench. And so yeah, just run a little bit too. And if it's not there, you can do the exact same things we've been doing, but you might get some easy buckets out of it. And that's what New Orleans did. They just pushed the ball a couple times, and it didn't work a ton tonight, but they got a couple of easy baskets because they pushed. Now, there was one play where Dame gets a steal pass to Ant, and I thought he had a great jump stop lay-in, and that would have been his. Who knows if they didn't wave that off, he might have shot better tonight, making his first basket. But I want them to run a little bit. I feel like we're playing at way too slow of a pace.
Yeah, I agree. But it's just like, just look to set freaking off-ball screens. It's not hard, man. Like, people were asking me earlier, did your rec league team win? The other team didn't. The other team didn't have enough players, so they had some subs. But if you play with subs, the game doesn't count. So we lost, but we technically won. Like, we moved on. It was playoffs. So we were playing against a JC starter, though, a junior college starter level player. So yeah, it was interesting. But the reason I bring this up is, like, my team moves really well. Like, we know how to move. Like, we're always looking for each other. We're always trying to play team ball. And obviously, it's just freaking rec league, so it's not a high level, But, like, today we were super stagnant. And it just takes, like, there was a couple times where I'm trying to set off-ball screens, and the guy with the ball just isn't even looking. He's just kind of, like, zeroed in on his defender, or he's, like, wants to pick and roll and just wants to run that. You know what I mean? So even though, like, two guys on the court can maybe try and, like, link up for an off-ball screen, some split action, whatever. But if the guy with the ball isn't really looking for that, or is turning away from that action, or trying to run a pick and roll, then that action isn't going to result in anything, right? It takes all five guys being bought in on trying to play that brand of basketball. The problem is that's why you see, like, Larry Nance Jr. come over, and he's trying to do all that stuff, and now he's basically given up. He just sits in the corner a lot of times. He doesn't try and set off-ball screens. He isn't cutting enough recently. And it's because he's the only one looking to do so. He's the only one looking to do so. So it's a situation where you got to get five guys that are bought in on playing that style of basketball. But we've shown clips in your breakdowns, which we'll get to in a second. We've shown clips in your breakdowns where guys are just standing. Guys aren't looking for anything. Guys aren't trying to move. Guys aren't making the right cut. Guys aren't making the right off-ball screen. Just basic stuff. So it was a problem last year, and Stotts was completely okay with it. Now Chauncey said he was going to fix it, and it's still a problem, so I don't think Chauncey's completely okay with it. I just think there's only so much you can do to get a collection of players playing a style offensively in freelance where you're moving the ball and making cuts and whatnot. You go and watch the Phoenix Suns on broken plays and the way they move the ball sometimes. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's all 4 or 5 guys looking to make something happen. It's all 4 or 5 guys making quick decisions. Oh, do I have a shot? Nope. Pass. Bang, bang. Pass. Okay, I'm going to screen away. Okay, I'm going to cut. Just moving. Just making quick decisions. Doing something. Sometimes it doesn't even have to make a ton of sense. Just do something. Don't pass and stand. And I don't think Chauncey's okay with it, but I think it's difficult to get 5 players collectively playing like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I say you should probably, I don't know why the players who aren't doing that, though, if it's consistent, like, for example, Rocco's been pretty consistently bad on that end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is he getting minutes then? Like,
Yeah.
what kind of message does that send to the people who are going to be here long term and who you want to play like that consistently if you continue to give someone minutes? Now, we did bench him, so I guess that's the first step. But
did we bench him today?
No, took him out of the starting lineup.
Yeah. I was going to say
sent him to the bench is more accurate. Yeah.
But here's the problem though: if you don't play him, you give up the potential chance to get someone who can play that style that at a high level. Mm-hmm. So that's the catch-22 of it all. Like,
yeah,
I don't think Rocco's coming back. I think Rocco is as good as gone. Mm-hmm. Even though he started to play a little bit better recently. I mean, you obviously struggled today, but he's been better the past, 2-3 games. He's been better off the bench. But I don't know, dude. It's such a team-wide problem. Let me get through the rest of the donos. Let me speed things up here. Shout out to Beavis the Blazer, $5 dono. Says, keep Nance, CJ, Nas, trade everyone else. You want Dame traded, Beavis?
I think he qualified that by saying, obviously, keep Dame later, but that didn't make much sense.
Appreciate the $5 dono, Beavis. He also says in chat, we need off-ball screens and lobs, backdoor cuts. Our offense has no chance. The problem is, we just have to, it has to be designed. And when it's designed, defenses see it coming a lot easier than if it's not. And it's easier to game plan for. If you're doing that type of stuff out of freelance, it's better.
Oh, well, you didn't see this because you didn't see the second quarter, so you'll be surprised in Brandt's breakdown tonight.
Yeah, I mean, no, we still need to do so out of sets. It's just that's the thing.
No, it was freelance. So.
It was freelance? Oh,
yeah.
I'm shocked. Oh, I need to see this. This is shocking.
Yep. Let's get through the donuts.
So it's going to show exactly why we need to play that style of basketball, huh?
Yep.
Cool. Perfect. Shout out Dame's Goat. $2 dono. Says Dame is back, yay, and Siakam and Ben to Portland. Appreciate the $2 dono, Dame's Goat. By the way, Beavis, I hope that digging project is going well. You work so hard. I gotta give you a shout out for all your hard work, man, with you and your job. And then shout out to Near012, $5 dono. Says the issue isn't CJ, it's the pair of CJ and Dame. CJ is just catching strays. CJ is the best chance of getting a good player back. Near012, I love you, bro, but if it's the pairing of CJ and Dame, then why isn't any better when we don't have CJ?
Well, it's kind of like Philadelphia right now. We're playing without whoever we get for him, so in theory,
yeah, bro, it's like, oh, our struggle is just because we're playing CJ with Dame. When we didn't have CJ last year, everybody that was saying, oh, all our problems are because we have CJ with Dame, then switched to, oh, well, what can Stotts do or what can the team do? CJ is hurt. And we have Gary Trent Jr. was struggling and not doing it defensively, and we weren't any better. And then it switched from, oh, it's the CJ and Dame pairing to, oh, CJ's hurt. What do you expect us to do? And then CJ comes back, oh, it's the CJ and Dame pairing. And then CJ's hurt right now and we're not any better. So how is it the CJ and Dame pairing? How is that the main thing that's responsible? How is that? Oh, the problem is just you got CJ and Dame. Well, you got Norm at the 2 now, and you've had Nas at the 3, and Nance at the 4, and Nurkic at the 5. We had one good defensive game against Memphis. But we already, with CJ and Dame, had a good defensive game against Memphis at the start of the season. So, but Near012, you're better than this. I'm disappointed, man. You're better than this? You're a regular watcher and you donate all the time. We appreciate you. But, we don't like an argument like you just made saying, LOL, they hit their ceiling. What does that mean? What does that mean? Normally you have good arguments even if I disagree with them, so I'm a little bit disappointed. Step up the game a little bit near zero. Anyway, I appreciate your dono. Trust me, I do appreciate it, but I don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, let's just call it what it is. There's people who are just done with CJ, and they can't be convinced no matter what happens. So.
I mean, it's the easiest. I feel like it's the easy thing to just be, okay, it's CJ, and then just, you can be optimistic, like, oh, if they just trade CJ for something, we'll be better. That's like the easy, optimistic, thing to think. But I don't think people aren't realizing the potential downsides that could come with a CJ trade. People aren't realizing that the problems go far beyond CJ. Hoop Productions, I'm not stressed at all. Just I gotta vocally make my point. If it's an agreement, disagreement, I'm not gonna be monotone. I'm not gonna go quite Stephen A. Smith. My voice can't handle that. But
real quick, there was the Dave's GOAT thing, so it kind of glossed over it, but
yeah, I didn't know what to say.
We don't have the assets to get 2 stars. Like there's not possible. Like all these trades that have us getting, let's get Ben Simmons and Miles Turner and this and that. Like we don't have the assets to do any of those right now. So just keep that in mind. I mean, I would love to get Siakam. I would love to get 2 good players, but it's really hard to get just one. I'd be happy with one, right? Let's just take one at a time. So that's what we should do from now on, because how many of these trades ever happened, right? But it's fun to talk about. So let's focus on one trade first. Get one guy in all your trade suggestions. We're talking about it. Like if you want Ben Simmons, yes, go after Ben Simmons. If you want Siakam, go after Siakam. Don't do these trade things where we're talking about both of them because that's just completely unrealistic.
I know, but that's why I glossed over
this. This isn't just to Dame's GOAT. This is to everyone, like in chat, because we constantly see it. Like, how about like Uznain had this? He was like, okay, so trade for Ben Simmons and then trade for Miles Turner and Justin Holiday, and then trade Justin Holiday and a 2nd-round pick for Cam Reddish, and then all of a sudden we have Simmons and Miles Turner and Cam Reddish, right? It's like those other teams aren't going to make any of those trades you propose. So that's what I'm saying. Like, for all these people who say for years, we need to trade CJ, we need to do this, we need to make a move, we need to take a risk. It's likely going to be one risk. It's not, 3 players that we're bringing in that are all good. So just kind of be realistic when you talk about.
Yep. I'm about ready for Brant's breakdown, but I'm thirsty. I just DoorDash some 7-Eleven. I'm going to go grab that. If you want to carry for it won't be 15 minutes. It'll be about 30 seconds, Eric, and then we'll get into your breakdown.
And something else people always forget. So when you see all these trades, like I saw Bleacher Report proposed to trade today, we currently cannot trade a future first-round pick. Now, that can change if we change the protections and made another trade with Chicago to change those protections. But right now, unfortunately, we cannot make a trade using future first-round picks. So these trades that include 2 or 3 future first-round picks, they can't happen. And if they did, they'd have to be 3 unprotected picks, and we'd have to make the Chicago pick unprotected, and that's not going to happen either. We're not going to give up 4 unprotected picks and all that kind of stuff. Benjamin Lucas says that ain't going to happen. We'll probably get Alex Caruso, beef stew, and sign Jeremy Lin. Actually, Alex Caruso would solve a lot of our problems. He is one of those players. So you were joking, but Alex Caruso would help our team out a lot right now. And Chicago won't trade him.
Yeah, that backfired, man. That backfired on him. All right. So, Brant's breakdown. If you're ready for that. Let's jump.
The first play, I had to include it because as the play was happening, we heard on the broadcast say, "Oh, good defense, but the help's got to come. Wait, where's the help?" And it never came. So we have a pick and roll. I think it's Hernan Gomez and Devontae Graham. So Hernan Gomez is going to set a screen. And then next slide shows Nance kind of helping on that. McLemore's going to go with his guy to the far side. So right now, Nance is trying to recover. He almost gets back in time, but not really. And notice how there's a guy in the corner that you can't see, but we have that same thing that we talked about before, where there's two guys in the corner and two guys on our team playing defense, right? Now, this situation is different because the ball's all the way on the other side of the court. In the example we gave on a previous stream, it was because they were on the near side, like on the same side as those two players. So, in my opinion, Ant should be the one going up, and Rocco has to be the help defender because he's the better rim protector in this situation if the center, Hernangomez, gets the ball going to the rim. So Hernangomez is going to catch the ball in the next slide.
Okay.
And Nance is going to try to recover, but Hernangomez gets a step on him. And Rocco just stays right there. And doesn't slide over. He just stays. And then Hernangomez just drives down the middle of the key. No help comes. And then actually Nance fouls him on his way by, and he lays it in and scores. Where there's no reason for Rocco not to be in help position right there.
Yeah. I mean, it can't. This is the thing where we need smart defenders, because if it's a situation where, you got two guys on off ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
You definitely want Rocco helping here, but, sometimes he might help from the top side, sometimes he might help on the bottom side, which is why, honestly, for this team, Eric, I would almost rather just have Ant be the one who helps.
Yeah.
Just have the bottom guy help every time so there's no confusion. So at least there would be help in this situation, like Ant can step in and try and take a charge here. You know what I mean? But just have some sort of... I mean, it's too much for these guys, and it shouldn't be, right? Like, if this was Draymond and Steph, Draymond's helping every time, and Steph's covering the two guys perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, they know how to play defense. Even though Steph isn't a great defender, Steph is smart enough to be able to do that.
He's probably taking a charge or something in the middle of the paint. Or...
Yeah, but, like, that's the thing, is we're not situationally aware enough to be able to... I feel like Rocco's like, oh, I'm high guy, I'm not going to help.
Yeah.
But
there's no one high. It's like they're both.
Yeah, they're
as
both.
You see in the next slide, they're like Ingram goes down to the block.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, just if it's not like, if it's a situation where maybe they're kind of stacked a little bit, it's just like we don't know what to do. Like, it's just a situation like this where we're just lost.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is too, it's like knowing your personnel. Hernangomez is not a good passer, so like. You want to force him to put the ball in the court and have to dribble around someone. Like, how many times do we see that with Nurk, where he catches the ball in that situation and Rocco is a step over in the middle of the paint, and all of a sudden Nurk gets a charge or turns the ball over because there's someone in front of him, whereas we just let the guy just dribble right down the court for right down the middle of the key. Yeah. Well. Yeah, see, this is the other problem. So Norm gets through the pick, and then Nance is caught kind of in no man's land. So instead of trapping, like you said, he tries to recover really quickly. But yeah, if he traps Graham's not very tall, so you probably make him have that be a tougher pass there. Yep.
I mean, we saw the Pelicans. We saw the Pelicans do this to Dame in the playoffs, right? And Dame was not able to get the ball out easily at all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's the issue. That's the issue there. Anything else on this play?
Nope. Ready to move on. So
yeah, I just started reading the latest donation, and we're gonna have to continue that after this.
I thought this game was going well at the time this happened. We had a really good stretch of offensive plays. So we have this play here. So Dame's going to pass to Nurk. And in the second slide, Nurk has the ball. And look what we have, Tori. We have the floor set up to where we have a Nurk and Nance action on one side of the court and our three other players on the other side, right? Now, go to the next slide. We're going to post up Nance, and Nance is going to get the ball, and we're going to run this great action where Norm and Dame both run to the middle of the paint. Norm cuts directly down the middle.
Yeah.
Now, Nance could probably lead Norm a little bit here, and he might have a lay-in.
Or you know what you do if you're me, you do a wraparound behind the back pass.
Yeah. You get fancy with
if
it.
you're Alperen Sengun, I love that pass.
Yeah. But anyway, so this is one thing. Okay, so there's a lot of wrinkles you can do off this. You have Norm cutting, you have a shooter spotted up in the corner, you have Dame who can come off this screen, and then Nurk could roll right after Norm or do whatever if they pay too much attention to Dame.
Yeah,
so I love
options.
the setup of this play. It's good action. And what's going to happen is Dame's going to come off this screen, and because of all the jumbleness in the middle, in the final slide, we see Dame coming, or there's two more slides. So this play, that the defender tries to go over the screen, and in the final slide, Dame is wide open. So Nance has an easy kick-out pass, like a 3-foot pass to Dame for a wide open three, all because we just ran a simple little screen and cut action in the middle with 3 players.
Yeah, I mean this action with Norm gets.
You're muted.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Jeannot said you were. Sorry.
I think I was muted for I said 3 words earlier, but your chat. I don't know. Yeah, maybe Juno's behind. But Norm's cut here gets the attention of Is that Valanciunas guarding Nurkic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Valanciunas has his head turned, and I mean, when it's off-ball screens like this, bigs aren't as ready to play up, you know? So Valanciunas here probably needed to try and stay up, but is Valanciunas going to run all the way with Dame out there? Then Nurkic is open on the roll, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just have options off this. This is why you got to run motion stuff. This gets Dame a shot. And it's I don't understand. Oh, Dame
can't play off ball.
Dame can't make the shot because he just caught it and shoot it. You know what I mean? I don't even know how to say that properly because that's such a terrible.
Dave doesn't like getting these shots because he prefers to have the ball in his hands, not off ball.
He wants to shoot 30-footers off the dribble through a double team, man. I mean, I get it, but not to, he loves this shot and he knocked this down. So the thing is, he struggled. He was in a shooting slump no matter what at the start of the year. Off the ball, on the ball, with the ball in his hands, with the ball out of his hands, and him coming off screens. No matter what he did, he was in a shooting slump to start the year. It was not because he was being used off the ball. You gotta get him shots like this, because this is what the Warriors do for Curry, man. And Curry knocks him down. If you can get Dame a few more opportunities like this, and defenses are going to have to sell out to stop him, it'll create confusion. Other guys will benefit. Other guys will be open. Right? Honestly, if Valanciunas goes with Dame here, then Nurkic cuts and Nance can just hit him with a bounce pass, right?
Yep.
Norm's guy probably isn't going to be in the play because he has his back to Nurk and is following Norm through. So if both these guys go up, Nurkic slips down the middle, dunk. If Valanciunas doesn't go up, Dame gets an open 3. And it's just basic offense like that. And we got to run more stuff like that because it's really hard to guard.
And let's say the Pelicans play it perfectly and no one's open. Then you have Nance in a post-up situation on a slightly smaller guy, and maybe he scores a bucket or something, you know? But, that's last resort. But at least we tried something to get into that first.
Daniel says, LOL, Tori can't do the sarcastic, idiotic voice Eric does. I wasn't giving it my all, but, I mean, that's Eric's thing, man. I don't think I can. Just let me be a bench player. Eric's the star in regards to that. That's his thing. I have no chance of stealing his thunder on that. Anyway, yeah, I love this action, man. Wish we did this more.
We actually did it the very next play again, and I forgot what happened. I think we got a foul. Someone had to hold Dame or something. So
yeah, I mean, you gotta mix it up. You can't just run the same thing every single time. But just more things designed to, just more play designs like this. I'm tired of seeing us stand around, and then we run something like this, and it gets Dame probably his best 3-point look of the night.
Yep.
So, anyway,
and then
I like
the next play
had something like that.
Once again, we have this is the play. You're gonna love this. So, we have this situation where, Dame Norm pick and roll, big surprise, right? Oh, predictable. So, Nurk's gonna set a pick for Dame, and then in the second slide, You notice how we have our shooters in the corners, like always. We have Nance up top,
Yep.
Snell on the bottom. Typical setup. Norm's, 5 feet behind the 3-point line, taking himself out of the play again. So Valanciunas is going to hard show on this. And so notice Nance right now in the top corner. Ingram has no clue where he is. He thinks he's in the corner because we always stay in the corner, right? Mm-hmm. And this is why spontaneous cuts that aren't like designed action work almost every time. So Dame is going to come across, and in the third slide, look at Nance. Look what he's doing. He's pointing up. He's taken one step inside the 3-point line, and he's pointing for Dame to throw the lob, right? Mm-hmm. Dame doesn't throw lobs. But Ingram has no idea he's cutting. No one on the Pelicans does, except for maybe Valanciunas, who's behind Dame. But the other three have no idea. And they're so concerned on Nurk because we always dump it off to Nurk in that situation. Or we throw it to the corner and Satoransky can easily contest that three by Snell. So Dame can't throw lobs, right? But with one hand, he lobs it up in the next slide. You see Nance cut behind Ingram, and Ingram has no chance here. Mm-hmm. Dame throws a perfect pass. Nance goes up and gets it and throws it down.
Dame can't throw lobs. God. Don't question, bro. Like, where's the Dame disrespect, man? That narrative, Dame can't throw lobs. Dame can pass. He just, when you have a very stagnant offense where guys don't cut, he doesn't look for lobs. Now, he doesn't throw enough of them. That's been the problem. He doesn't throw enough of them. Doesn't mean that he can't do it.
But it's because it's not there. Like, 9 times out of 10, Nance is staying in the corner, or whoever that is, the Nance, Norm or Snell or whoever, and they have no chance. And then also the communication. So the pointing by Nance to throw it up, that's the Dame's cue. But eventually, Dame doesn't need the point. But for now, he's not used to it. He's not used to people cutting or doing that outside of maybe Derek Jones for a while last year. But yeah, this is a situation where just that little point, and Dame knows, just throw it up near the rim. There's no one that can even come close to contesting him. It doesn't even have to be a good pass in that situation. Nance is going to get an open look every time just because of a simple cut. And this is why if you have guys who are athletic, Nas, we talked about this, Nas is constantly in a position to do this, rarely does. Ant, if you have Ant in the corner, he could get going by getting some easy dunk lobs like this. We have a lot of athletic players on our team. We need to take advantage of it.
Yep, agree. I love the breakdowns today. Very positive considering we lost to the Pelicans, where it's,
Well, okay. Well, we got to end with like this.
Wait, we got 4?
Yep, there's 4 tonight.
I didn't see a 4. I didn't. Oh, now it's showing up. All right, let me get this 4th downloaded and in there. When I went to the. What's up? Did you just upload it or
no? Sorry, I have 4 tonight, but
no, you're fine. I saw a Play 4 folder, and it had nothing in it, and now it has something in it. So I don't know what that was. I'm completely fine with 4 though. I'm not complaining at all, and I don't think the people are complaining at all either. So let me just get this up here. All right. So what do we have in play number 4, Eric?
All right, last play of the half. I mentioned this earlier. Ingram had just had a driving baseline dunk and a wide open 3-pointer because of a Rocco screw up.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, 10 seconds left in, I think there was like 11 seconds left in the quarter or something like that. So basically, last play of the half. We have set up pretty well here. Everyone's guarding their guy. That's always the first positive step, right? So in slide 2, Ingram's going to come up or start making his way up. Rocco is guarding Ingram, the hottest player on the court right now, outside of maybe Dame. So Rocco is in a position here where he's got to communicate with Ant, but he also has to recognize if Ant gets through the screen or not. So as we go to the next slide, Ant doesn't get screened. He gets through it perfectly, stays in front, right? He does not need help here. You do not need to be there. He made it through the screen, and Devontae Graham also is not really a penetrator. He's going to shoot the three if he's open, but he's not open for a three here. So this is not your help if he drives either. And if you want to, I mean, he's not really good in the mid-range, so if you want to let him shoot mid-range shots, that's probably okay. But once again, you're guarding Ingram. He is the most important person to know where they are on offense. And as we go to the next slide, so Rocco's going to still be coming down. He's moving away from Ingram, not with him. Ant's still in good position. At this point, he's on the backside of Ant. So this becomes Nurk's help. This is 100% Nurk's help in this situation now that he's driving down the right-hand side and Covington is on the wrong side to help anyway. So as we go, he has got his back turned to his guy, like I said, the hottest player in the game right now at this moment. As we go to the next slide, Rocco is then caught in a position where all his momentum's going the other way. He tries to spin around and get out to Ingram, but Ingram is wide open for a three on the kick out and hits the ball. So just like there was no reason for him to be there, no reason to help, no reason to leave Ingram without wide open, and he does that. And it kills us. And instead of going to the half with the lead, we're down 2 because Rocco gave up 8 points basically in 2 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, this this isn't CJ's fault. And if CJ was playing, this wouldn't be CJ's fault. So, I mean, we have so many issues offensively. We do so many things wrong that go beyond just CJ's responsibility, or for some people, Nurkic's responsibility. I mean, it's Rocco. Rocco, we point out a lot because we hold him to the highest standard, but he's been making a ton of off-ball mistakes. So Rocco's been an issue, but like everybody on the team will do stuff like this. You know what I mean? Everybody on the team will make mistakes like that they shouldn't be at this point of the season.
And in this situation, the clock's running down, right? It's into the half. But in a normal situation this year, Ingram's catching this ball. Rocco's going to fall for a pump fake, fly out past him, and Ingram's going to drive in and dunk it or get it because someone else would miss a rotation after that. And that he just get blown by in this situation. It's happened multiple times every game this season. So, it's so frustrating. Shout out to Cole for requesting this play, or I got a DM saying, "Hey, did you check out Rocco's positioning on the last play of the half and all that?" I love hearing that. Like, keep that up. Anyone who's watching and is actually learning stuff from that, feel free to DM me and say, "Hey, on that one play where this happened, did you notice this?" I love that you are paying attention and that you are seeing it unfold and becoming one
of our clones.
Aware. You're recognizing what's happening on the court as it's happening. And that's really cool to hear. That makes me so happy that people are starting to understand the game better. It's really, really fun to see people notice that. Yeah,
it is pretty cool. Successful Colt tactics, right? Not for real. It is pretty cool. Eric will give you a shout out. Anyway, that's Brent's breakdowns. 4 good plays, good and bad. I like that. I don't know where I'm going with this. You want to get into player cards? We got the player cards.
Let's get near 0-12.
Oh yeah. We were going to continue this. That's what. See, I knew I was forgetting something. There are times where I start to talk and I know I'm forgetting something, and I hope that I come up with it while I'm talking, and I don't, and then I just sound like an idiot. So shout out to Near 012 with the $10 dono. Says, can you give me a team that won a championship where your 2 primary ball handlers were ISO-heavy shot-first guards? Probably not. When you have 5 players on the court, you want to mix skill sets. I think that's what that last word is. The thing is like, the argument used to be, since when has jump shooting teams ever won a championship? Then the Warriors won a championship, right? So I hate that argument. Oh, when has a team built exactly like this won a championship? Well, almost every team is built differently and have different strengths and weaknesses, right? Dame doesn't have to be ISO heavy. CJ doesn't have to be ISO heavy. I don't think, like, what's up?
I was going to say, that's been our point for several years, is that we don't want them to be ISO heavy. We want them to play off the ball like Klay, and Klay doesn't dribble the ball. He doesn't ISO. He takes shots if they're there or passes if they're not, right?
I mean, Klay ain't gonna be, or CJ ain't gonna be quite like that.
No, I know, but I'm saying they don't have to be completely ignorant of that, you know?
Well, what your breakdown showed a perfect play where Dame gets a wide open three playing off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why he can't do it. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't want to do more of it. It got him his best look of the night, and he didn't have to expend a bunch of energy getting that look.
Yeah.
I agree that we're too ISO heavy, but it's like when Dame and CJ are on the court, we're still too ISO heavy. We're always too ISO heavy no matter what. So I'm not going to say, oh, that's two ISO heavy players. Like, that's just how they are always going to play. I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that's what you said, but like that's kind of what it sounds like to me. I don't agree with that. I understand wanting to have a diversity in terms of skill set, but like if you give up CJ for something, you're going to miss out on a couple things that CJ provides. And that's what people forget. People act like, oh, well, we don't need two shot creators at the guard spot. But without CJ, look at how much we're struggling when Dame's off the court. And when Dame's getting shut down or Dame's struggling, where do we turn to? Now, it wouldn't be as bad if we didn't ISO as much, but still, you need a second guy that can create shots for himself or others. Name a championship team that hasn't had a second guy that can create shots for himself or others at a high level. That's my reply to that. I appreciate the $10 dono near 012.
The only thing I'll say to his point is that I do feel like there is a part of CJ that wants to have the flashy break someone down off the dribble, roll someone's ankles, pull up on them, shot in their face, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I don't like that shot I showed Dame getting. I think he would prefer that than having to drive in on a big guy and trying to, lay it in over him and maybe getting fouled and stuff like that. I'm sure Dame would prefer to get much easier shots. Whereas I feel like CJ likes the whole thought of him being an ankle breaker and having the special victims unit videos that he had for a couple of years. So I do think there's a little bit of that, but we've seen it. The numbers all show this. CJ, catch and shoot situations, off ball, where he's getting good shots created from others or from a set design. He is one of the best players in the league shooting the ball in those situations. And it's not a situation where these guys aren't good in ISO. Like, they were two of the best off-ball catch-and-shoot players in the league last year. So, they can be good in those situations. And this is what we were wanting, a new coach who stressed that ball movement and had them play off ball. And, Gordon, unfortunately, has not been able to watch or participate much. But back when he was, towards the end of last season, he would show these stats whenever I requested them. But it's a fact. Steph Curry was exactly like Dame and CJ prior to Steve Kerr. The percentage of times he isolated, pick and roll, all that kind of stuff. So Steve Kerr comes in, and all of a sudden his off-ball, actions, getting a screen off-ball, all that kind of stuff, the percentages go up, and he becomes an off-ball player. But the thought was, with a coach like Steve Kerr or someone who came in stressing that kind of offense, that those guys would change their games to that. And unfortunately, it hasn't really worked out yet. Dame struggling at the beginning of the season and them having to kind of go back to the offense. But I hear this notion that Dame is just now getting comfortable in Chauncey's offense or whatever. And I'm like, what offense? It's not different than last year, really. So it is a case where by the numbers, by the percentages, they are still playing closer to what they were playing the previous years under Stotts. So this isn't a case of like the Warriors where they went to a ball movement offense and a less ISO offense, less pick and roll offense. We are not quite made that transition yet. I don't know if it's going to come or not, but I still would like to see it like that. But unfortunately, I just don't know if it's ever going to happen with those two. So, and once again, for the people saying this in chat, Tori and I are completely fine with trading CJ. We're fine. We're not saying you have to keep them. And that wasn't my point earlier when we had the poll and everything either. I was just asking if Chauncey thought CJ was one of those type of players, if you guys would be okay with his opinion. And obviously 77% of you were not. But
67.
Okay, 67 it ended up. So 2/3 of you were not okay with that, regardless of what Chauncey thinks. But yeah, it's a case to me where this is why we always bring up in previous trade videos and streams and stuff like that. Like, you don't just trade one problem for another problem and think it fixes everything. And that's why we've been against Ben Simmons. That's why we've been against a trade for, say, a Drew Holiday in the past or whatever, because it doesn't necessarily solve the problems we have. It just creates different problems. Like, we become better defensively, but less good on offense or whatever. And yeah,
the problem with Drew is it would have taken like 3 picks too. So yeah. We weren't against swapping CJ for Drew straight up. Obviously, we'd rather have Drew, but given all the assets, it's like you're going all in on something that isn't going to fix enough of the issue, and is not enough of an upgrade in talent to justify using all your assets there. So anyway, we gotta get into player cards. Dame is back. Dame save us Lillard, man, back for another season. Finally, 39.7 assists, 2 rebounds, a steal, a turnover in 40 minutes. I don't like him playing 40 minutes, but at least he's productive still. Gets to the line 8 times, makes 7 of the free throws. Also has an ejection. So what was he mad about?
He had some drives in the second half where he got absolutely fouled on a couple of them, and then he said something, and then I think he felt like what he said wasn't technical worthy, and so he got mad about that. And then so he was still kind of fuming from that, but he let it go. But then, we're down 12 with like 30 seconds left, or no, I think it was like just a few seconds left. And so he just, the game was over. It was just inbound and hold the ball at that point. So I think he just wanted to send a message and get that second technical.
Yeah, that makes sense. How many times has he been ejected in his career?
I think this might have been his first, actually. I don't know if he has.
Yeah, shout out to Dame for getting ejected. Hopefully you guys like the the thumbnail caption. I had some fun with that one. But, everybody that wondered if Dame was washed, he ain't washed. I tried to tell you, he ain't washed. He's obviously not washed, man. That's the thing. It's like dude's missing shots, and it's a little hard to drive, and he's not getting called, and people start questioning if he's washed or something. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. He's getting better. He's getting better calls now. He's making his 3-point shot. Defenses are having to extend to guard him, which makes it easier for him to drive and get into the paint and score. Especially when if he gets bodied, he's not getting no calls anymore.
Yeah.
So he's back to being Dame. And it might have also been the ab thing, and he had the cortisone shot. That might be helping him right now. If that was an issue, then that might, it's still going to be a bit of an issue, but hopefully it's better. And that's what cortisone shots are supposed to do. So Dame is back to save us mode. You love to see it. Let's move on to Jusuf Nurkic. 17 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals. He had 5 fouls in 33 minutes. 6 for 10 from the field. 5 for 8 from the free throw line. Looks like a decent game statistically to me.
Yeah, 3 turnovers. They're all kind of bad ones again. So he's got to do a better job taking care of the ball, like we talked about last stream. And then, it was just kind of weird. Like, it was typical Nurk, He makes a shot, it's fine. He misses the easy one, and he's the worst player ever, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's basically what it was tonight.
I'll take 60% from the field for Jusuf.
He did get he got 2 quick fouls on Valanciunas. You probably saw that part, but
yeah.
He did get 2 quick fouls on him, got him out of the game.
Bodied him on another play.
Yeah.
Which was, they could have called that offensive. But I like that they didn't let that go because it's just body.
I went back and watched it a couple times.
Yeah.
Valanciunas just flopped. And so I'm so happy they didn't call that because that would have been good. Yeah, Valanciunas actually before Nurk even hits him the next time, because he had kind of backed him down. But Valanciunas is also like leaning on him like over, so like it should have been a foul probably earlier than that. But then before there's even contact, Valanciunas is already going back, and then Nurk kind of misses him, and he falls over, and then Nurk's kind of surprised and just lays it in. But yeah.
Yep. Anyway, I don't know, anything else you want to say for Nurk?
Yeah, I mean, he's gone to a point where I don't know if him showing on the picks is becoming too predictable. I wish they'd mix in some hard traps like you mentioned on that one play earlier, but his defense is kind of slipping. It's kind of like CJ's, where it was decent at the beginning of the year. Nurk's very good at the beginning of the year, and then but lately he is kind of struggling a little bit.
Yep. Anyway, let's move on to Norm. Maybe I need to take away the nicknaming powers for Norm slides for Krish, because this makes less than 0 sense. It makes negative amounts of sense, dude. 16 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block in 42 minutes. 6 for 14 from the field, which includes 2 for 5 from the 3-point line, and 4 for 9 inside the arc. Gets to the line 3 times, makes 2 of them, has 2 turnovers to go with his 2 assists, so a 1-to-1 turnover to assist ratio. With a foul, he's a team worst minus 16 in his 42 minutes. Not quite 2005 LeBron.
Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. But Beavis thinks it's the opposite. Powell had some great moments in this game. He had some points where he struggled a little bit, but he had a stretch where he was playing really good, pushing the pace, getting to the rim, finishing strong. I just feel like we forget about him for way too long for stretches, but I mean, he played okay, but
I get it. Chris says 2005 LeBron played 42 minutes per game. Damn, that's insane.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Now it makes sense. Okay, Chris.
LeBron.
Okay, yeah. see. Okay, now that you explain that, it's understandable. I thought you were just comparing their play, because that's something you would do. Oh man, Chris is our biggest Norm fan, and then Beavis is the biggest LeBron hater. Says that LeBron isn't a top 50 player all time. So, of course, Beavis goes the other way on that anyway. Any other thoughts on Norm?
No, not really.
Alrighty. Let's move on to Larry Nance Jr. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists in 28 minutes, 4 steals. You like that steal number. 2 for 3 from the 3-point line. Finally made a couple threes. He had been shooting horribly before now. So that's a good sign. Efficient night for him.
Yeah, I thought he was solid tonight. Like that he made a couple threes. I like that he cut that one time. I like that we didn't do it at all in the second half, but in the first half, like I said, we ran that play a couple times in a row where we were posting him up and Nurk and him were on the same side. I wish they'd play together or have more actions together on the court more. Yeah, I don't think he was the reason why we did anything today, good or bad, but yeah, fortunately, no one really played good enough.
We're getting some bad takes in chat, man.
Yeah.
I just gotta move the show along. Robert Covington over Helpington. It took me a second to realize what that said. I was like, is the graphics glitching? 7 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, a block, 3 for 7 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. Rocco, Eric.
Yeah, he made both of his 2-pointers. Hey, there you go.
I mean, that's all he is now, is a 2-point shooter. He used to be a 3-and-D guy, and now he's a 2-point shooter. What a progression.
There's a couple times this game where we moved the ball actually decent on a possession and it ends up in Norm's or Rocco's hands. It's like, oh man.
I feel like one of these months we're gonna get like 50% 3-point shooting Rocco.
Yeah.
Because like there was a month last year. What month was it? Was it February or March?
It's one of those. I don't
There was a month where he shot 50% for the entire month from 3. So he'll have like a really good month that'll kind of bring up his 3-point percentage, and then he'll have a couple months where he's just really rough. So that's hard to read. Anyway, that's Rocco. Ben Edward McLemore. Chris is really scraping the barrel. I don't get this one either. 6 points aboard. 2 for 7 from the 3-point line. It sucks that we can't get him. Like, one of the threes he made was a difficult step back in the corner near the end of the first quarter. It sucks that I don't know. Like, we run some stuff for him. I feel like outside of the Charlotte game, we've really struggled to get him good catch-and-shoot 3-point looks. I feel like a lot of his shots have been contested. Maybe I'm wrong on that in this game, but
tonight, yeah, we got him a couple. He just wasn't hitting them tonight. Like I said, the one was an insanely difficult shot, and then the second one was so Rocco actually, that was probably Rocco's best play of the night. He had a tip out off a rebound to McLemore, who bricked a 3, and then Rocco tipped it right back out to him again. and he hit
try again. Yeah. I mean, Ben McLemore, I think the last game, didn't he have a possession where he missed one and then got another shot and then made the second? So definitely doesn't lack for confidence, and that's what you need as a sniper off the bench. You just gotta hope he plays solid defensively and makes a good percentage of his threes. That's really all you can expect with him. Quiet-ish night compared to him, compared to that Charlotte game, of course. So anyway, Anthony, Chris, you're getting in your bag for this one. All right, I respect the creativity here. Anthony Simons, 31 minutes, has 2 points.
Yeah, Simons was not good in this game. Unfortunately, he's at a point now where it's either bad or good. I think that's the up or down graphic, right? So it's either going to be a good night or a really bad night for Simons. And unfortunately, we need him to be a little more consistent right now. So hopefully he gets that back at some point. But yeah, we needed him to step up with, while CJ's down, Nas is out. We needed someone to get us some buckets, and unfortunately he was off tonight.
Here's the thing with him, man, is like when he's on, he's really, really good. And my hope with him is just as he ages, he trends more to having more of those nights and less of these. Because if he can just be on more of the time, he's a fringe all-star caliber scorer, in my opinion. Like, if he just needs to trend that way. So, what are you facepalming at?
Ernesto says he's trash, man.
Time to trade his ass while he has promise. Yeah. Anyway, Honestly, I want to briskly go through this because there's just some stuff in chat that I don't even want to read.
You asked me why I was face palming.
Yeah, no, I know. I was like, because I was talking, man, and the last thing I want to see when I'm talking is you face palming. I'm like, did I say something dumb, and I just don't know it? So that's what I was. I had to make sure that I was okay with my analysis, but I mean that's just the hope with Simons is more green Knights, less red Knights. Right now it's kind of a 50-50 split for the most part, but as he gets older I expect him to be more consistent, and once he's more consistent he's going to be a terrific player.
Yeah.
Anybody that says he's trash has quite an opinion. That's all I'm going to say. Since,
also nice. I mean, let's be better than this. So and so's trash. So and so's the guy. Like so and so's whatever. Like, give me reasons. Like I'm not a big fan of Anthony because of X, Y, and Z. Not he's trash. Better trade him now before he'll never have value or whatever again. If anyone realizes it, that doesn't contribute anything to the conversation. Explain what your reasoning is behind it. Say, I don't think he's good for this team in the future or whatever. I just would respect it a lot more in chat if that's what happened.
Agreed. Let's move on to Beef Snellington. Tony Snell. Near Zero's 12 said, up next is the best Blazer of the night. Tony Snell was the best Blazer of the night? I don't think he was meaning Tony Snell. But Beef Snellington, with the start today, he's back. And back to Tony Snell type of things. Eric, in 18 minutes, he has 0 points, 0 for 1 from the field. It wasn't even the 3. He got 3 boards, a steal and a block, though, so good for him. Recorded some statistical marks there. Had a turnover and a foul.
Yeah. Fortunately, if he did not step on the court, I don't think it would have been much different for the Blazers if they're playing 5-on-4 points in this game. So, yeah, just kind of out there running through the motions once again. Yep.
I mean, when we play bad, invisible is good, right?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
if he just does nothing good or bad.
Okay. So I actually think it's the opposite. If we're playing good, invisible is bad, but when we're playing bad, we need people to step up when we have injuries. He's getting the start tonight for Nas. He's got to contribute more than.
But
nothing.
I mean, what is he going to step up and do?
I don't know, but this is part of the problem. I mean, we have a guy who, he hasn't really been great shooting the 3 this year, but we get him not a single 3-point opportunity in 18 minutes. We get nothing. He's not really spacing the floor or doing anything great that way. So what are we doing with him on the floor? It's like, I don't know. I'd much rather play a Greg Brown or just give someone else a chance that's actually going to have a chance of contributing something.
Yep, I agree. Anyway, let's move on. I think Near Zero meant this guy's the best player.
You said he was joking anyway.
Oh, no, best player of the night, Eric.
Outside of Dane.
Although, wait, you missed... Oh, I was looking at somebody else earlier in this game. I thought he had a steal. I'm tripping. But 3 boards and 0 for 1 from... I mean, he was basically Tony Snell in less minutes.
He actually should have gotten credit for a steal because he had the defensive play of the night, in my opinion. He had Jonas Valanciunas thinking he was going to get some barbecue chicken down in the post. Watford fronts him. They kind of swing the ball to the top and try to throw it over the top. Watford spins around and knocks the ball away.
Mm-hmm.
And gets a possession, a steal for the Blazers, where he probably would have gotten scored on. But yeah.
Wait, hold up. What is this text say? Hold up. What does this say?
Only player with a positive plus minus.
Oh, nice. Good for Watford, man. Good for Watford. All right. Cool. I couldn't read it on my screen. Anyway, only player with play Watford more at this point. Screw it. Give him some Oroko's minutes. I know I was saying Fernandez to take some Oroko's minutes. Now Nance is playing more. Give Watford some Oroko's minutes. He can't shoot, but I mean, honestly, what? Dude, how is our two-way guy who was supposed to be a bad defender been better defensively than Roko?
I don't know.
Well, like, what the hell, man?
And also,
don't know.
He grabbed some rebounds and dribbled up the court and like was actually looking smooth with it, you know. Yeah. So I'd like him to either get more comfortable doing that or be allowed to be aggressive in those situations, because I feel like, you know, we're struggling on our offense. We're struggling to get into our offense. We're struggling to run stuff. Having a guy his size who could break down a defense and has handles to create shots, I like to see him just let loose when he's in there and just let him be who he is. I think he's trying to fit in a little bit, which is normal. I'm not going to say like he should come in and just dominate or whatever, because that's more than likely not going to be the case. But I feel like he could blow by some of those bigs who are not. I mean, he's not really scouted yet, right? So he could catch some people off guard with how well he handles the ball and how, like, his little spin move in the paint. I feel like him pushing the ball up, much like Nance has started to do a few times. I think that's something we could use to create a little bit of offense when our second unit is just dreadful.
Yep, agreed. Anyway, that was the player cards. You gotta love the people that just hate CJ so much that even though we haven't talked about him in a while on the stream, they still just love to come in here just ranting about how much CJ sucks. And how CJ's just so terrible of a fit. We lost by 14 to
right now.
He's not even playing right now. We lost by 14 to the Pelicans without CJ, so obviously there's other issues. But, you know, people just love to make CJ the problem, no matter if he's playing or not. So, anyway, gets annoying. I'm about ready for Around the NBA and then we'll end the stream. We'll be live again on the 23rd, hopefully with the win, because, I mean, the losses have been getting brutal lately. We got the Nets next. Is there any update on their situation that you know of?
The Nets.
Yeah.
So as of now, this will be their next game, but yeah, not sure.
Okay. Well,
they had their two games both today and Sunday canceled, so we'll see. We'll see.
Are you hoping that game gets canceled?
No. No.
Neither am I. Because, I mean, that's a great opportunity for a win against a team that otherwise would be pretty tough to beat.
Yeah. I don't want to play them 2 months from now when they have Kyrie, Harden, and Durant back. Yeah. I mean, I do want to play them with all their guys, but yeah, I don't want it to get canceled. I also have a personal reason that I do not want it canceled as well. I would be a little annoyed if it was canceled.
Oh. I don't know what that means, but okay.
I could share if you. I guess I could share.
If you want, I don't care. I'm not gonna. I'm not investigating you.
My 9-year-old son was scheduled to be the honorary captain of a Blazer game. I think just like a game or two after the season got canceled in 2020, and then so. He was honorary captain of a game for like last year when we didn't have fans. You know, he got his picture on their Twitter or whatever, which is cool. But you know, he didn't get to go down to the court and meet Dame or you know. But anyways, on the game on Thursday, he gets to be one of the people who are at the end of the introduction line, and they get the T-shirt and get dapped up by one of those. So.
Oh yeah. That's
I
awesome.
think he's going to be really sad if, for the second time, he gets to go down on the court and
that would be brutal.
Doesn't get to go or gets canceled or whatever.
Oh,
I'm sure they'll make it up to him, but yeah. So
yeah,
he's excited about it, so he doesn't want that to happen. Yeah.
Yep. Fingers crossed this game happens for his sake and for your sake and for our sake, for everyone's sake. Hopefully we get the G League Nets. up next. Let's go around the NBA. Let me upload this first. We had a game that just went final somewhat recently, so we're waiting on that. Dude, I can't find what am I looking at here? Okay, here. Sorry, I'm like looking at the same post-game setup and somehow I'm confused, man. This should not be happening 30 games in. Just like all our mistakes shouldn't be happening 30 games in. All right, around the NBA, a light slate today, so this segment will be pretty quick. You got the Knicks beating the Pistons, and I love looking at box scores now because I just want to see if there's any players that I do not recognize or just see how certain scrubs might be doing. That's always fun. For the Knicks, they're led by 22 from 48. Kemba Walker is back in the starting lineup. He played 40 minutes tonight, 21 points.
Hey, props to him, man. He's been actually playing decent since he had to be forced back into the rotation.
Yeah. I mean, if every team is missing valuable players, all of a sudden Kemba Walker looks a lot better. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a bad guy to have as an insurance policy, I guess. Off the bench, Mitchell Robinson has 17 and 25 minutes. Wayne Selden is finally getting NBA minutes for the first time in his career. I think he was on a team but never actually played, and he was like a star in college at Kansas. There is the ESPN ad. Good old classic ESPN ad drop there. Wayne Selden getting minutes, and then they brought back Damian Dotson. For the Pistons, 15 from Sadiq Bey, 5 for 19 shooting. He has not been efficient this year. Kind of tough. Corey Joseph is 15. Cade Cunningham, 2 for 13, 7 points. He's been a little bit of a slump lately. Off the bench, Saban Lee has 16. The Pistons lose to the Knicks. Game number 2, you got the Heat blowing out the Indiana Pacers. The Heat were led by your 6th man of the year pick, Eric Tyler Hero. He had 26 off the bench in 21 minutes. Duncan Robinson had 26. He's kind of struggled this year, but he was better tonight. They're playing Marcus Garrett. Who was I thinking of? Is there another M. Garrett in the league? Am I tripping? I'm tripping, dude.
I think there used to be, maybe, but not now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm tripping. Udonis Haslem played. He got 3 points. He hit a 3. Udonis Haslem hit a 3. And it was in Miami, so I'm sure the stadium erupted for that. So shout out to Udonis Haslem, still in Miami, still going strong. The Heat get the win there. The Blazers, disgusting. The Mavericks beat the Timberwolves 114-102. The Mavericks led by Jalen Brunson. He has 28. Finney Smith with 19. Marquise Chris plays 16 minutes off the bench. He is now in Dallas, and he had 6 points and 8 boards and a block. And he was also a plus 10, so solid minutes off the bench for Marquise Chris, who got playing time ahead of Boban and Moses Brown. So that's interesting. Theo Pinson also had 7 points off the bench as one of the obscure guys signed recently. Karl Anthony Towns, 26 in the loss. Jake Layman, 8 minutes, 3 points. Jake Layman can't even get PT, even when they're missing guys there in Minnesota. So, sucks to see that, but is what it is. And then the game that recently went final. Suns beat the Lakers, 108-90. Devin Booker's back. He had 24. Suns have been pretty healthy throughout all this protocol stuff. For the Lakers, AD out for a month. They got LeBron with 34, Westbrook with 22. Westbrook with 22. And then off the bench, Trevor Ariza is back. He had 12. Other than that, Carmelo had 7. No other Laker had more than 3. So, not a lot of help for the Westbrook and LeBron James train. Anyway, that is the game scores. Let's move on to I need to make it so it doesn't slide over. There we go. Phoenix, number 1, retains that spot with the win over the Lakers. The Lakers fall to 500. Portland down there in 11th place still, tied with the Sacramento Kings. Portland is currently 6 games back of 4th. Still only 3.5 games back of 5th.
Well, this is the frustrating part about losing a game like this is the Lakers lose, the Timberwolves lose. We have a chance to creep back up, but no.
I mean, we're creeping back up the lottery board. That's what we're trying to do. We're only 2 games out of 14th, 2.5 games out of last in the West. So we're trying to trying to get there. I mean, honestly, I like how things are really jam-packed, honestly, because we can move up to 5th, still have a good chance of moving up to 5th, or if we really, really suck, we have a good chance of getting good lottery odds, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. But I would like to win some freaking basketball games, especially against the New Orleans Pelicans. Anyway, that is the Western Conference standings. East, you got Brooklyn still in first, Chicago in second, Cleveland continuing their Cinderella run. Lots of teams jam-packed from 6th on down through 11th and 12th with Atlanta and New York. That is the Eastern Conference standings. Now let's look at the next 5 games. Eric, you got Brooklyn, then 3 days off. Hopefully it's a G League Brooklyn Nets team that we can take care of. Dallas, they didn't have Porzingis tonight. Luka Doncic has still been out. Now that game is in 6 days, so maybe they're able to get one or both of those guys back, but we'll see. That could be an easy game for Portland at home. And then Utah at home. I don't know when CJ is going to come back. Haven't had an update on him in a while, so I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why it's taking so long to even get an update, but, maybe we can get CJ back at some point during the schedule. That would be nice. We end the year off with Utah and LA, and then start the New Year's off with Atlanta after 2 days rest, and Atlanta's been struggling, so the schedule starts to get lighter in terms of opponent strength in January, but we start a wicked road trip on January 13th, so we start to play a lot more road games. Any thoughts on this, Eric?
No, I'm done. We're going to go 0-5.
We're going to go 0-5?
Yep.
Is that what the people want to hear?
I'm done. I'm done thinking this team is going to ever go on a win streak. Yep. It's just 0-5 every time we bring up the slide.
We're going to... Tyler Johnson is going to go off on us on the 23rd, and then on the 27th, Marquise Chris is going to get his revenge, and then on the 29th, Hassan Whiteside is going to... dominate off the bench for 20 points in 10 minutes. And then the Lakers, Westbrook is going to brick shots to his teammates and they're going to get dunks. And then Atlanta, Trae Young is going to nutmeg us again. So that's how the next 5 games will go. That is around the NBA. Alrighty.
Joey is asking about Nasir Little. He has a non-COVID related illness. And so... who knows what that means? Maybe he just has the flu or something. But hopefully the whole team doesn't get sick at some point.
Yep.
But yeah, we've been very lucky to not have any kind of health and safety protocol stuff this season. So hopefully that's it.
Yep. Anyway, chat's kind of gotten me tilted today. Not even gonna lie, I'll try my best to be respectful of people and their other opinions, but sometimes people just spam them and it gets annoying. And sometimes they're just, Ant is trash, gotta trade him. Like, every player on our team is trash, dude. We heard it with Dame is so washed, you gotta trade Dame before teams catch on to the fact that he's washed, and now look at him the past 3 games. You know what I mean? It's just, I know it's always gonna happen with chat, but it's getting frustrating lately. We need to win more. We need to win more because that's kind of what fixes it all. But the same people that come in here spamming their opinions then complain with the reactions their opinions get. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, David Armani, but yeah. Anyway, I don't know where to go with this, Eric. I'm tempted to just literally hit the outro right now. Thank you to everybody who supported. Thank you to the donators, Antonio, Mills Woj, Beavis, James Goat, and Near Zero. Thanks for helping the channel out. It makes it easier to do the graphics that we do for you, done by Krish, as always. Does a killer job with it. We don't have a stream tomorrow. We then have a stream on... We have 2 streams on Thursday. We'll have Blazers Uprise Live, then we'll have that Nets stream. And then we have 3 days off over Christmas, which I'm ready for. What do you, anything else, Eric?
No, just thanks to everyone for watching. Appreciate everyone. Even if you get sideways in chat, still appreciate that you come in and bring energy, I guess. But, yeah.
Yeah, good job bringing the energy. Anyway, we will catch you guys... No. What else? What were you
David, don't try to justify it.
Yeah, I stopped paying attention to chat.
I need to say something.
Yeah.
For those that pay attention, thank you to those who do. I have held myself accountable multiple times on the show. In this very stream, I held myself responsible or said I was wrong about how good this team was going to be, all that kind of stuff. In this very show tonight, I said that. For those that go on my Twitter and look at my pinned tweet and then constantly quote tweet it and say, like, when are you going to hold yourself accountable? If I was not holding myself accountable for that tweet, why would it still be my pinned tweet?
Yeah.
I would have deleted it if I wasn't holding myself accountable. It's still my pinned tweet because I am holding myself accountable for it. And this is what I am talking about. Like, so I have that as my pinned tweet. I will continue to have it as my pinned tweet until we are eliminated from getting the 4th seed, which is still a possibility, even though, I mean, it doesn't seem very likely at this point. But I mean, I don't know how much more I can say. I've said it on here. I was wrong. I thought this team was going to be better. I thought they would care more. I thought they would actually perform in a situation where their coach was calling them out and trying to fix the things they were doing wrong. And I don't know what happened or why these players are not performing well because, quite frankly, this team is not playing as good as they are. Like, even the people who thought we would be bad didn't think we would be this bad this season. So, I mean, I've tried to explain why and do all that stuff, but I was wrong about this team. They are not very good, and they do need to make a change and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know how much more clear I can make. So don't come into chat and try to say I don't hold myself accountable, and this is why this channel sucks because, like, we say all these things about how good we're going to be, and then we don't say anything when we're not good. Like, we've been saying it like all year.
Go look at any other freaking media member or YouTube channel and find somewhere where they ever admitted that they're wrong about anything. Please, try me with that. Dude, I just laugh every time someone quote tweets me like, when are you going to hold yourself accountable for this stupid comment? Oh, you got 0 of this correct. Nice job, idiot. It's like, okay, why is it still my pinned tweet then? That's what...
and you take a bunch of heat for it.
Yeah.
From a bunch of people who would never admit when they're wrong. Yeah.
People I don't even know.
Yeah. So, and I guarantee you all the people giving you crap would have deleted that. There's no way they'd even have it pinned.
Yep.
So... yeah, don't come at Eric with that crap. I mean, I shouldn't even say anything because I don't even know what I want to say. I'm just annoyed. And you summed it up pretty well. I'm ready for a 3-day break. I appreciate everybody that's super supportive. You guys make this enjoyable. Like, it's still enjoyable to do because of people like Nerd012 who we can disagree, right? But we can have a conversation, and he's supportive, and he's a cool guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if people disagreed with us, just went about it like a Nerd012, it'd be enjoyable. But you get people coming here with just absolute trolly crap trying to get a response, and then you have people make burners of, like, make fake Valley podcast accounts, and, I mean...
yeah.
Yeah.
Well... see, here's the thing. So David says this guy's bringing the heat, right? All he said was Blazers Uprise, the channel where no one holds themselves accountable or something like that. And then he's like, oh, you bringing the heat? Yeah, right on. That's what I've been trying to tell him all year. And now he's trying to act like he didn't say anything. Like, whatever, man. Get over yourself.
Sundo joined at the perfect time. What's up, Sundo? Yeah, David gets on my nerves, man. I will admit it. Well, I mean, it's obvious, but I don't enjoy reading a lot of the stuff he does in chat. He comes in, like, people will come in here, act like, oh, I'm just, sharing my opinion. But there's people that come in here looking for attention, right? And they'll go about it like they're just trying to state their opinion, but they're really looking for freaking attention. And then they'll complain when they get it. Why are you guys coming after me? Bro, you chat in a way where you're obviously looking for attention. And you're obvious, like, CJ didn't even play today. We hadn't talked about CJ for 30 minutes, and you come in here just ranting about CJ, and you expect to not get a reaction from that? You're obviously trying to get a reaction, man. Like, I don't like when people come in here and they're obviously trying to get a reaction, then they complain about the reaction they get. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. That's how it comes across to me. Now, if that's not what you're doing, maybe type a little bit differently. I don't know. Maybe go about things a little bit differently. But, dude, like, you don't come in here in a win. I don't know if you've come in here after a single win all year. Every time I see you, it's after a loss. Every time I see you, it's some rant about CJ, no matter what, no matter if he played or if he didn't. And then you complain, oh, why are people going after me? Why do you think? Do we really gotta spell it out?
I've already reread it, David, and that's all he said was a negative comment about the show, so whatever.
Yeah, and then somebody starts trashing the show, and he's agreeing with it and hyping it up. And then he doesn't understand why people go after him. Bro, get out of here with that. I hate people that do that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. It's people that will try and stir the pot in a way where they can still play like, oh, I wasn't doing anything, when they cause some sort of reaction. I hate when people do that. That's like a Twitter thing. I mean, we've had people in the past come in or chat or like that, and it annoys me. And then people are like, oh, you can't handle a different opinion. It's not about a different opinion. That's not what that's about. So
we're not talking about Bando, Ronnie. All right, whatever. Thank you for watching, everyone. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for. You notice how our viewers went up when we started ranting, Eric? They like chat. They like this stuff. They like the drama.
No, it's the people who are banned or had to log into their burners so they can pile on.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out which burner isn't banned. Yeah. Anyway.
I think the Valley just ended their show too. So.
Yeah, so we probably got a few of those people coming over, and that's why you get the. I mean, Suns fans shouldn't be calling any other franchise a poverty franchise, man. I mean, you guys are on the come up, and it's good to see. But like, where have you guys been until the last 2 years? You guys were like looked at as one of the worst organizations. So you guys know what it's like to be at the bottom. So I don't know why you would trash talk somebody at the bottom. Just enjoy yourselves being at the top instead of going and trolling other fan bases. You don't need to. You guys are first in the West. Just why can't you guys enjoy that? I don't understand that about certain fan bases. If Blazers were number one, I would not be going into other streams trolling other teams. Unless it was like the Lakers or maybe the Warriors, right? Who just have notoriously toxic fan bases. Blazer fans? I would go in, like, if we were number one in the West and the Memphis Grizzlies were struggling, I would go in Grizzlies streams and troll the Grizzlies.
See, this is just someone, because unfortunately the Valley Pod guys get all their normal commenters and their people on there get a lot of burner accounts made, and then they say really crappy things. Yeah, so I think it's just that seeping into our show. I don't think it was anyone that cares about the Suns. I think they're just trying to act like it was one of our friends doing that to us.
Yeah, which we absolutely know. Nobody would do that. The only person that would say anything remotely close to that would be Salty, but he wouldn't do it under a disguise, I don't think. Salty would just do it under his own account and troll us. And I mean, I guess I gotta respect him for that, you know? At least he owns it. Just to tie everything together.
Yeah, you had to go there with Salty. My guys.
Hey man, we got a truce now. We're cool now. I said maybe Salty would do that, but he don't, and I respect him. You know, these are nice things that I'm saying about Salty right now because we got a truce. You know, but I don't think he's watching us at all. But you know, I just had to follow him back on Twitter, and that's how the truce was born. So
nice.
Anyway, David, you are definitely not bought and paid for. You are the opposite.
Good for you guys that you hashed it out.
It wasn't even that. He was trolling me in a chat, and I said, "Fine, I'll follow you back." And he said, "Okay, truce." I'm like, I don't know, man. He's a personality. I mean, he lives up to his name. His name is Saltiest, so Beavis has a point. But yeah, I mean. that's the thing with their show. Their personalities all like mix well, and it's just entertaining. You know what I mean? And they're just like full blown to the max. You know what I mean? Like they're just, the energy is fun over there. So, yeah, shout out to those guys. They just got another win tonight. They beat the Lakers. So cheers. We don't have to be against each other. Cheers to the Suns for beating the Lakers. You'll love to see it. Anyway, too bad the Blazers couldn't beat the freaking Pelicans. They lose tonight, 111-97. We'll have 2 more streams for you guys before Christmas. Those will both come Thursday. Blazers Uprise Live is our second channel. We stream on that channel Mondays and Thursdays, going live around 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. That link is in the description box below. We will do picks against the spread, then we'll preview the Nets game and conversate with chat a little bit more than we do in here. We'll take some of your questions and whatnot, and then we will have the post-game show after the Nets game, and then 3 days off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 24th through the 26th. Kind of a cool Christmas break, not to have a game during then, and it doesn't line up with any of our Blazers Uprise live streams, Eric, so a pretty natural break, 3 days over the course of Christmas. So we will catch you guys after that. I'm not going to sit here and, happy holidays, I guess, is what I say now. I'm not going to wish you a Merry Christmas yet, because we got 2 streams before then, but hopefully you guys have had an enjoyable December so far. With that being said, I'll let you get any final words you want to get off your chest, Eric.
Thank everyone for watching, and have a good night.
Yep. We'll catch you guys again 2 days from now on Thursday. Have a good rest of your night. As always, peace out.